this is Miriam, pain coach and mind-body practitioner at Pain Outside the Box. And in this video, I'm going to address the question, the burning question, but what if nothing is working to heal my symptoms? What if you've been doing the mind-body work, you've been meditating, you've tried all sorts of stuff, you've tried even relaxing, and nothing is working? Your symptoms are still present, you have flares. What can you do when you're in this state, when you feel like you're giving up, nothing's working, your symptoms are ever present? So there are various angles from which we can address this issue. First of all, we have to start from the very foundation, from your very own belief. So first of all, ask yourself, if you're in this situation, do you believe that your symptoms have a mind-body origin? Do you believe that you can heal your symptoms by harnessing the mind-body connection? That you can heal your symptoms by changing your emotional state? Do you really, really believe that? Or are you currently in a feedback loop of fear and doubt and still wondering whether there's a totally external cause to your symptoms, whether there's something else that's stopping you from healing? And very often we can find doubt and blame in this area, blaming other stuff, not being sure that you can totally overcome your physical chronic symptoms through a mind-body approach. Very often there is still doubt, especially if you're still thinking in terms of, should I take another test? Should I have surgery? Should I do this? Should I do that? That shows that the belief, that foundational belief, is very, very shaky. So if you've been trying and nothing's working, this is the first thing that you need to address. Do you believe, despite everything, do you believe that this is a mind-body problem that you're experiencing? The second thing that I like to look at when someone has been doing the work and nothing is working, so let's assume you have been journaling, expressive writing, you've been taking time for meditation, you've been taking maybe time for self-care, you've been learning, watching videos, trying to apply techniques and all of that, and nothing is working. Maybe things are even getting worse. What do you do in this case? So the other aspect you would need to address in this case is, despite all the stuff you've been doing, have you been really listening to what your body is trying to tell you? What are your symptoms trying to tell you? And this could look like your symptoms trying to stop you from doing something specific. Your symptoms trying to get you out of a toxic situation. Your symptoms trying to get you to take time out, to give stuff to yourself that you really need, to take that trip, to pursue that dream, okay, to pick up that old hobby again that you enjoyed so much, whatever. If you could really choose, if you had the power to choose whatever you would like to do with your life, if you had no time or financial constraints, no imposing pressures or duties, what would you really want to do? Could your body be telling you to stop what you're doing, to stop all that pressure, whatever, and pursue something else? This is a very important question to consider. Even though we don't live in an ideal world and maybe we can't do whatever the hell we like, it's still good to listen to what our inner child, what our body is trying to tell us. Because it's pointless trying all sorts of tools and techniques and following this work rigorously unless you're really listening, unless you're really aware of what the issue is that's causing the symptoms in the first place. It could be that you're working too hard on a job that you don't really like or enjoy, and you're not doing anything about it to change the situation. It could be that you haven't taken a break or a holiday in a very, very long time. It could be that there's something that you want to release, that you need to release, a relationship that is no longer serving you in some way, right? Very often we get symptoms because of these very things. And as I said, and I repeat, it is pointless to try and, talk things out and do the work and meditate unless you really, really listen and work on these aspects as well. I realize that you can't change everything overnight, but at least you listen, at least you get aware, and maybe then you will start having ideas on what you do. Maybe you realize that you need some more balance and you pick up that old hobby again or that activity again. Maybe you take more time out each week, okay? I am a strong believer that lifestyle tweaks, at least, to your lifestyle are needed. And these tweaks don't involve just sitting down to meditate for 10 minutes a day, right? They have to have something to do with your life, with your lifestyle, the way you live on a daily basis. So really, really consider that. It's more important than whatever extra formal work you might be pursuing. The third aspect to consider when nothing has been working and you're starting to give up and you're wondering now whether a mind-body approach is right for you, okay, you're getting really frustrated and upset because, you compare yourself to other people who seem to be okay and they don't do half the stuff that you do or you try to do for your own well-being. That can be really frustrating. What to look at in this case is the way in which you are approaching this work. Very often people approach this work from a position of wanting to really desperately fix themselves. They say things like, yeah, I need to do this. I'm broken. Something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with my mind, my psychology. I'm not good enough at this. I need to work more. I need to meditate more. I need to use more tools. Okay? That attitude of doing something to try and change your situation, to try and fix it directly. Now, most tools don't work unless you trust the process. So besides doing it, let's say besides sitting down to meditate or even to journal, besides that, after you do the activity and even during, there has to be an attitude of trusting how things will unfold. There has to be a letting go of the outcome. This is called outcome independence. I also address it separately in another video. But the important thing to realize is that so many people do all kinds of things which are good in themselves from a position of resisting what is, resisting your current situations, resisting the fact that you still have symptoms, being hard on yourself or putting more pressure on yourself because you still have symptoms, comparing yourself to others who have healed already, and, wondering what's wrong with you or your approach because you still have symptoms. Usually what's wrong is your own resistance to the situation. Your inability to surrender and say like, yeah, I have these symptoms and they are a consequence of what's going on emotionally. And in order to have let's say the fastest healing, I just have to listen to myself. And I cannot keep getting upset at the fact that I have symptoms right now. The symptoms are just a consequence and they will change if my emotional state eventually changes. And sometimes this takes time and patience. So that is the third aspect that, requires a lot of patience, a lot of surrender, and it's very counter to the way that we have been brought up, believing that we need to, do something and expect a result. And if there is no direct result, then that something is not working. This is not how it works in the mind-body world. In the mind-body world, we do a number of things to regulate our nervous system, to align our life, to live a life that is more conducive to our well-being. And then the healing takes place on its own as a side effect, not as a direct result of what we're doing. So I would like you to keep these three things in mind from today's video if nothing is working for you. Take a step back and just consider these things. I would even recommend that you stop doing all these tools if you're doing a lot of stuff like a lot of meditation, yoga, journaling, whatever you're doing. If you have a list of stuff you have to do daily, I would recommend you stop that for a while and just reconsider these three things. Do you really believe that your symptoms are mind-body and can be healed through a mind-body approach. Are you listening to what your body is trying to tell you, what you really want to be doing? Are you really aligning or trying to align your life and to create a lifestyle that is more conducive to your own personal happiness? Or are you basing your day-to-day life on shoulds, on what you should be doing? And number 3, are you resisting the fact that you have symptoms right now and trying to do all sorts of things to change those symptoms? That is resistance, and that needs to be let go of. I'd just like to remind you that I can help you more with this process through my Pain-Free Breakthrough Program, which is an online recovery program directed at people with chronic pain and other symptoms that will guide you through the emotional side of things, through the resistance aspect, and all sorts of factors that contribute to chronic symptoms. So if you're interested, I'll put the link in the description. And that will be all from me for today. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.